Hey, this is Dr. Tom Rogers at Performance Medicine. Jenny and I were visiting Abington tonight, the Highlands Festival, like we come up every year, and we came upon the most interesting guy, Mr. Keith Finger, and he has organic foods, and we were just talking, and I thought, this guy's right up my alley. He starts talking about soaking your beans and getting the lectins out of them. You know how I preach the plant paradox, Dr. Gundry's stuff, and get some amazing results with patients through changing their diet over anything that I do. But Keith, I want you to kind of tell me a little bit about what you do. You're from West Virginia.
Sure. So my wife and I have a company. We're out of, it's Momma Organics. We're out of the northern part of West Virginia, up by Parkersburg. And we have a farm up there, and we create about 250 foods that are really unique in the sense that, unlike any other store, every food that we sell is made from strictly 100% USDA certified organic, chemical-free ingredients, period.
You just don't see that, do you?
No, you just don't see that in stores. And
People claim it, but
yeah,
you don't see it.
That's right. Most all of our foods are also vegan and gluten-free. So we go and we meet people at shows like this, and we sell on our website, mountainmamaorganics.com, and so we also like teaching. We like spending the time teaching people about how to really optimize the digestibility and nutrition on our foods and such. So with all these different things, that's really one of the things we talk about is what we happen to run into tonight with you on the proper preparation of bean soup.
You tell me about how you soak. You must soak the beans for at least 24 hours.
That's right.
Tell us about the sprouting process and why it's important.
Okay, so a big mistake that Americans make is they think, well, we soak our beans to soften them. So they'll do 3 hours or 8 hours or 12 hours of soaking, and really, that's not optimal. Optimal for nutrition and digestibility is a 24-hour room temperature soak after following a good rinsing. Now, why 24 hours? Well, it takes that long for the beans to go through a number of very important processes, and those don't happen at 8 hours or 12 hours. And we don't soak to soften, we actually soak to begin them into sprouting because we get so many benefits. So what are some of those benefits?
Tell me about those benefits.
Okay, so I like to talk about first is that lectins, as you were mentioning on the front end, are definitely an inflammatory agent for our digestive tract. So by doing the 24-hour soak, we know we get out 95% plus of all the lectins within that 24 hours of soaking, as long as we follow it with a good rinse. Some people use the same water to cook in, that's a no-no. We also get out all the insolubles. Now I like to kind of use my body as a bean and talk about what happens to the beans as they begin to sprout and how we get so much more nutrition out of them by sprouting. So if my bean is a body, I think my body is a bean, I think of it like this. Okay, at about 12 to 15 hours, I start to wake up. I come out of quiescence. I begin the process of saying, hey, I need to turn myself into a seedling from a seed. So the first thing that really happens by enzyme and hormone action, chemical action within the body, is something that causes the release of these bound up nutrients, things that were tightly bound to protect the seed as it overwintered. At this point, it needs to release them and start the conversion process. So it will do that. And over the course of the several hours, it will begin the process of recombining those freed nutrients. So what is the benefit to us? There's two. One is the bioavailability of those nutrients is now much higher because they've been released and they're easier for their body to get to. But the other thing is they're higher order of nutrients because at that point we've also started the process like a little food manufacturing plant of recombining these things as we change our structure into a sprout.
That is fascinating to me. I mean, that is probably the best explanation I've ever heard of that. And we just met him 5 minutes ago walking around. But so I'm always preaching about using the Instapot. So soak your beans for 24 hours and rinse them 3 times and then put them in your Instapot, which pressure cooks them.
Yes.
I always thought you could get rid of your lectins by pressure cooking, but it sounds like to me we need to really soak those beans.
Yes.
I know, like if you ate 5 kidney beans that were raw, it would kill you.
Yes,
right?
yes,
so,
yes.
You know, you have to know what you're doing.
Yes, soaking is very important, particularly with the kidney beans there, yes.
Okay. As you know, my whole practice is based on getting rid of inflammation, and everything starts at the gut. When I get a new patient, I don't care what they come in with, the first thing I ask them, how's your gut working?
Absolutely.
And 99% of the time, I've had these digestive problems over the years. And so that's really, you're on the same page. Tell me one other thing I want to cover with you.
Yes.
What about this inflammation thing you have over here? What is it? I'm interested in that.
This is an anti-inflammatory tea that we developed. So I have psoriatic arthritis. And so some years back, 3 years ago, my wife said, you know what, we need to cut down on the coffee a whole lot. Some of these other inflammatory things, the sugars, and I was not on much of that at all, but I was drinking a lot of coffee. Being a physicist turned farmer, I had a lot of coffee.
I knew
in
he
my
had
life.
to be a physicist. I knew he's amazing. Okay.
So my wife developed this awesome thing we call now Inflammacure, and it's my biggest selling product. It's my biggest reselling product. So I think it really works well. What it is turmeric, black pepper, Ceylon sweet cinnamon, cardamom, allspice, ginger, and the very powerful clove anti-inflammatory. We take this is traditionally called the golden milk tea. You take it in a dairy or non-dairy milk. I prefer almond milk. I suggest to people who really hate the flavor that they take it in a chocolate flavored almond milk. It's then like a hot cocoa, okay? And you will add a little bit of a sweetener if you have to. Coconut oil, very important. During the 10-minute heating, we're not going to steep, we're just going to heat. We add a little bit of coconut oil there, and it helps to break it down. It's a lipid that helps break it down. You take this, I suggest taking it just before bed with no other food or drink for at least 1 hour before. We don't want to mix in the chemical-laced stuff that's in our foods with what I think is God's medicine. This sits in your gullet overnight. You absorb it. Over the course of about a week, typically a week and a half, you'll suddenly see the inflammation start literally running out of your body. It really helps because it's also these elements that are in here also have a lot of other benefits besides immune system, like immune system boosting. Cinnamon, ginger,
sugar
clove, all of these have a lot of other benefits. So we're also going to get the longer term benefits from those.
And turmeric doesn't really work unless you have black pepper in there
That's
with
right.
it, right?
The
That's a
black
very important
pepper,
point.
yes, and I think also the lipid or the fat really helps to break it down and helps even more to get it into
So
your
you
body.
drink it at night. Compare that to apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
I mean, that's another thing. People,
Bragg's kind of a thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, compare this to that. A lot more potent.
Yeah, I think it's much more potent. I think that's good when you have some minor gastric disruption stuff, maybe a little bit of GERD.
This won't cause GERD at night.
Well, GERD is complicated, so same as IBS and colitis. And what I'm coming to realize, and actually this is your expertise area, so I'd like to hear from this from you, is that SIBO is really the root cause of a lot of these things.
Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. You're right.
Yes, thank you.
See, we call it SIBO. You're in West Virginia, you
SIBO,
call it SIBO.
yeah,
well, we do tests for SIBO.
So SIBO. And I've come to realize that a lot of us sort of in our 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we grew up with too much of that soda pop and candies and all this in our lives. And I think that that's gone in and really promoted bad bacteria to growing in not only in our small intestine, but apparently in the linings of it. And it's very hard to get rid of other than by homeopathic methods and a very careful diet and such. So with regard to GERD and these kinds of things, I think really looking at it as a bigger picture. What is specifically your diet? What is your physical activity? What is your stress level? What are all these other factors? And then that's probably what you do as a living, and then really looking carefully at whether or not. So with regard to GERD, I'm finding with a lot of these things, for some people, it can make the GERD worse, let's say. For some people, it'll make it better. Yep.
Kind of like when you test for hydrochloric acid in the stomach. We put people on all these acid blockers. I don't. But half of them or more than that don't have enough acid in their stomach to digest their food. So sometimes we use betaine to kind of test and see whether they have too much or too little. But as you know, too many people are put on these blockers, these PPIs for years, and it destroys your gut, and causes all kinds of problems down the road. But so I'm really interested in all the stuff you're saying, and you brought me some new ideas tonight. I really want to get some of your products in my offices. I have several offices and at Performance Medicine. If you go on my website, performancemedicine.net.
Okay.
But I surely want to hook people up because the patients I get are interested in this stuff.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, we can set something up with you. People can go and learn about us by going to www.mountainmomma or MOMMA, mountainmommaorganics.com. We've got all of our products are on there. We've got quite a bit of good information about how to use them and when to use them and how not to use them and this kind of stuff. So it's pretty interesting. My herb-infused honeys, again, those are tinctured herbs and honeys, and those have some interesting medicinal uses also that people may be interested in. Herbal medicinal teas. and then some just plain old really good foods.
Yeah, well, definitely, these are going in my bag tonight, and so that vanilla infused honey is going in my bag. So, it's great to meet you.
It's great to meet you too.
What's your website again, so they can go learn?
Thank you.
I'll put it on my website as well, and they
Okay,
can
and
hook
we
up with
can
you.
cross-link. MountainMamaOrganics.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bless